Congratulations, you have a Nintendo Switch, or maybe a Switch Lite, or maybe you're an existing Switch user. You're in the right place. One of the greatest things about the Nintendo Switch is obviously the first-party Nintendo Switch titles for the system. Nintendo has been hitting it out of the park for the last few years for the system, and there's a lot of great games to be had, published, and made by the Big N. Today's video is going to focus on the first 10 titles made by Nintendo I think you need to own for the Nintendo Switch. These are titles that I have personally played, have spent a lot of hours in, and highly recommend to both new and existing Switch owners. Now keep in mind that this list is going to change in the future because we are right smack dab in the middle of the Switch's lifespan here. There's going to be other titles being made by Nintendo itself, and I'm sure that this list will evolve over time. If there's a title that I missed that should have been included on this list made by the Big N, please put it in the comments down below and explain why a new Switch owner or existing Switch owner should get and play that Nintendo-made game. But before we get started with the list, consider subscribing, guys, if you like the content, if you like the videos. I am trying to get to 8,000 subscribers so we can do the next big giveaway. I appreciate all your support. I appreciate you guys watching the videos. Without further ado, let's get on with the list. These are 10 of the first Nintendo Switch titles you need to own for your Nintendo Switch. First up on our list is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the must-have racing title for the system. It has sold like hotcakes, and most existing Switch owners have it, so that means that multiplayer is still heavily played to this day. There is a great battle mode for the title. It includes all the DLC from the original Wii U version, and it looks beautiful both in docked and handheld modes. It runs at 60 frames per second. It's a beautiful game. It's a great racing title, and it might possibly be the best Mario Kart game ever made. When you get a Nintendo Switch, you have to have a 3D Mario game for the system, and the must-get title is Super Mario Odyssey. This is Nintendo at its very best in terms of platformer. This is probably the best 3D Mario game. There are so many moons to get. The worlds are fantastic. It's so colorful. The levels are great. The music is great. It just feels like a celebration of Mario up to now. And it is just such a solid platformer. If you really love 3D Mario games, this is a must own. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer on the Nintendo Switch. Everybody loves it. You have to have it. You gotta play it. Speaking of Mario, there is 2D Mario games on the system as well, and the must-get one is Super Mario Maker 2. That one is a beautiful continuation of the original Super Mario Maker for the Wii U and 3DS, featuring a lot more content, its own single-player campaign. Yes, you don't even need to dabble into the online or the maker part to enjoy this title. But the greatest thing about the title is the online. There is thousands of levels out there uploaded by users, by creators, as well as these worlds function where you can literally play whole maps, like whole games of levels. It is fantastic. It's endless free DLC. If you really love Mario, 2D Mario games, you have to get this for your Nintendo Switch. There's just endless fun to be had for it, and it's absolutely worth every single cent. Now my next game for my first party Nintendo made games for the Nintendo Switch list here, it might be a little bit controversial, but I can wholeheartedly say that I've had a lot of fun with this game for the Nintendo Switch. I've poured a lot of hours into it. I really appreciate the modern conveniences of Sword and Shield compared to previous Pokemon titles. Yes, it does not include every single Pokemon that has ever been released, but it's almost there. Actually, I like the Dynamax, Gigantamax mechanic for this title compared to the Megastone mechanic in previous Pokemon games. It's a lot more balanced, it's a lot more fun, and you guys know I love giant monsters. The DLC I like too, specifically the Crown Tundra, where it introduces the Dynamax Adventures mechanic. It's a lot of fun. I think it's a great Pokemon game to get back into Pokemon. If you've been burnt out from the previous entries and you're just a little bit too tedious, this one helps alleviate a lot of that. It's bright, it's colorful. Honestly, it got me really back into Pokemon. I know Sun and Moon kind of hooked me in a bit, but Sword and Shield is the most I've played in Pokemon in years, and I most certainly recommend it to new Nintendo Switch owners and Switch Lite owners. It's a must-get game in my opinion, and definitely worth your money. Now there's a ton of RPGs released for the system, and Nintendo actually has some first-party ones of their own, and I'm going to cheat a little bit here by combining the two. But Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition are must-have games for your Nintendo Switch. If you're a JRPG, RPG player, you have to get these titles for the Switch. They are some of the best I've ever played. Xenoblade Chronicles is actually my favorite game of all time. Though sometimes I fight with that with Chrono Trigger. Way back in the Wii era, I had a lot of fun with that title, and the Definitive Edition just makes the game even more beautiful. I remember pouring so many hours into the title, trying to suck up every little side quest, everything, because I just didn't want the game to end. And Xenoblade Chronicles 2 looks fantastic on the system as well. A lot of fun. Both are very good, solid RPG titles, some of the best you can ever play. And they're first party on the Nintendo Switch, so definitely worth picking up. For new and existing Switch owners, make sure you get a copy of either game, or both. Now the next title is something that I highly recommend for every Switch owner. And it's such an inexpensive game, but there is something for everyone from this title. This is literally one game, like, if you were shopping for a Switch owner and they didn't have this game, like, I would almost certainly suggest to get if you had no clue of what else to get for them. And that is Nintendo Clubhouse games. It came out earlier this year. It features over 50 games. A lot of puzzle games, a lot of board games, a lot of fun multiplayer games. Ones you can play with a controller, one you can play with a touchpad, one you can play with some motion controls. There is something for everyone from this title. It was released for just $40 MSRP here in the States. I've seen it as low as $30 recently. It's a very inexpensive game. There's a lot of value to be had for it. It is great in handheld or dock mode. There's online multiplayer too for a lot of these games. You can have a lot of fun with this title, and like I said, there's something for everyone. I think it's a collection that needs to be in every Nintendo Switch library. It's a must-get regardless, and it has to be on this list. Again, if you're looking to get a game for somebody and you have no clue what to get them, there is something for everyone in this collection. For those that are more curious, I actually reviewed the game here on the channel earlier this year, and you'll see that in the top right corner there. You can click on that link and check out that review video. Now the next game on the list should be no surprise, and that is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It is one of the best first-party Nintendo Switch titles for this system. Nintendo has gone all out with this title. This is the ultimate version of Smash. Every previous Smash character has been included with it, plus a bunch of DLC characters. In fact, they are still releasing DLC characters and updates for this title. It has been heavily supported by Nintendo. There is a huge, very active multiplayer base for it, and even if you're not a very good competitive player or a good Smash player in general, there's still a lot of fun to be had in single player. There's great ways to customize it to your skill level. There's a lot of content here. you could spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours playing this title and it will never get old. It's definitely a must-get title, and it is definitely one of the best ones to get for your Switch in general. And speaking of multiplayer games, Splatoon 2 is a must-have first-party multiplayer game for the system. Splatoon is Nintendo's take on a third-person shooter with solid gameplay and bright visuals. I love the crazy weapons and the friendly atmosphere with this title. Online is solid, and Nintendo has recently been getting back into holding some online events for it. Multiplayer is definitely the way to go with this title, but there's a solid single-player campaign as well as some additional DLC to get for it. I poured quite a few hours into this one, but I think I've only begun to scratch the surface. You can guarantee lots of hours of gameplay if you pick this one up for the Switch, which you definitely should. To a surprise to no one, Animal Crossing New Horizons is the next one on my must-get first-party titles for the Nintendo Switch. It has proven itself this year. It has sold like absolute craziness in this year. And honestly, it came at a year that we really needed it. It is the best in the Animal Crossing series. It provides a lot of customization and a lot of crafting with lots of gameplay. The towns look great. You have the ability to really make the island your own. And not only that, the updates have been really good. They've been consistent. A lot of new crafting recipes, a lot of new features have been added. And there's a lot of time to be had with this one, a lot of value. For example, for myself, I've spent over 900 hours in this title. The only game that even compares to that amount of time is Pokemon Sword and Shield. And for Animal Crossing, it's not even been a year yet. I've just had so much fun. There's always something to do in this title. There's always one more thing, one more day. It is just fun visiting your town, seeing it grow, seeing it change. And it's really fun visiting other people's islands and seeing what they're up to and hanging out with them. It is a wonderful game. It is an excellent game. It is the best in the Animal Crossing series, and there's really no reason other than you're just not into simulation games to not own this title on your Nintendo Switch. And the very last game on this list of the first Nintendo-made titles you need to get for your Nintendo Switch, that goes to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Honestly, this game needs no introduction. By now, you've probably heard about it. It's no surprise, but honestly, it does take the #1 spot by far. It is the best-selling game in the Zelda franchise. It's wonderful. No pun intended, the game is a breath of fresh air for the franchise. It is the best open-world game on the Switch. It is worth your time, it is worth your money. And if you're a fan of the Zelda franchise, you absolutely need to play it. It was my very first title for the Nintendo Switch, and it was a blast. It was a great introduction to the handheld, and I am most certainly hyped for the potential sequel that is hopefully coming out in 2021, Breath of the Wild 2. And there you go, 10 first-party Nintendo Switch games that you need to get on your Nintendo Switch. These should be the first ones you get. These should be the first ones you look into. There is obviously more first-party Nintendo Switch titles out there, and there is going to be more in the years to come. These titles, these 10 titles, are solid buys. They should give you a lot of gameplay. There should be a lot of value for your money. If you're looking for suggestions for the Nintendo Switch, hopefully this does help you out. I'm going to try to do one for third-party titles in the future, because there is a ton of excellent third-party titles for this system. If you liked the video, consider subscribing. I am trying to get to 1,000 followers. That is my next goal. If I can reach 1,000 followers, I am going to try to do a big giveaway for it. So consider subscribing. I'm trying to do 2 videos a week. I've been a little bit lax this month because of the holidays, because of work, and to be honest, I haven't been feeling so well this month. But I'm hoping that 2021 I get back to normal here. Consider checking out my Twitch channel. I stream 4 days a week. I've been having a lot of fun with that. Check out the Kaiju Club Discord, and also check me out on Twitter. Links to all that are in the description box below. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I will catch you next time.